Live. Oh, what's going on, everybody? How's it going? We are live again here. It's Tuesday morning, August 10th, and as we're just starting last week, we're doing a weekly live stream here on the Spro Coffee channel to talk coffee, drink coffee, and answer any kind of questions you have about coffee. So feel free to come join us on Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Time and come down to the channel and, you know, let's talk coffee. All right, so today's show, what are we doing today's show? I don't know what we're doing. We're going to be drinking the Corazon de Jesus, which is a coffee that we sell here at Spro, and it's really a wonderful coffee. Let me show you what it is. Here it is, the Corazon de Jesus. It is from Costa Rica, and it's actually from a place in Costa Rica that's called Chiripo. Chiripo is actually about a 5-hour drive from the capital of San Jose, way up in the mountains. It's actually the highest origin in Costa Rica that we're buying, so it's over 2,000 meters, and it's produced by a guy named Johnny Alvarado. And as you can see here in this picture of the bag, that's Johnny working the fields kind of in the cloud cover, right? So it's a really beautiful spot, really wonderful family that does it. So it's called the Corazon de Jesus because that's the name of the beneficio. So there's a couple different names that you'll see on our packaging and different things. We're talking coffee is, so let's say, for example, on this bag here, it says the Finca El Salitre. Finca meaning farm. El Salitre is the name of the farm. And so it's the El Salitre farm, which is the name of the farm, right? So that's where the coffee's actually grown. Now, typically on our bags, you'll see other things like, let's say in this particular case, the Corazon de Jesus, the heart of Jesus. That's the name of the beneficio, and the beneficio is the wet mill where they do all of their processing. So basically, the coffee comes off the field after being harvested. Then it needs to be processed, and that processing for this coffee, for example, is what we call washed. And what they do is they'll take the coffee cherries, they'll remove the beans, and they'll strip the husk off of the beans, put the beans that are now coated in a pulpy mucilage, put that into a water bath, let fermentation remove that pulpy matter over the course of maybe 16 to maybe even 24 hours, depending on the temperature and how fast it's working. And then they'll take those now washed coffee beans, lay them out to dry in the sun, either on patios or raised beds. And that's pretty much it. And that's pretty much what happens at the beneficio, at the wet mill. And then lot 25, of course, is the lot of the coffee that they've selected for us. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's upwards of 2,000 meters and shade grown, fully washed, right? So it is raised bed dried. And it's a blend of Caturra and Catuai coffee varietals. All right, so that's the coffee for today, and we're going to be bringing that in an AeroPress. And the AeroPress, here's the AeroPress. Right, the AeroPress is a lightly pressurized device designed by Alan Adler in California, who actually did the Aerobee, whatever. He has this kind of frisbee ring that works really well, and so he designed the AeroPress. Well, I think 2005 it came out, and it's been quite popular ever since. You know, people use it all over the world, and they use it for all kinds of situations, in cafes, at home, on trains, on planes, in automobiles. I mean, quite literally, you'll see a lot of guys, especially that are coffee industry types, they love to travel around and post Instagram pictures of them brewing the coffee in an AeroPress on an airplane. AeroPress, maybe aeroplane. Yeah. Something like that. Anyway, yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to have to, let me get everything set up here. So the AeroPress is a recipe that we use that's a little bit different. And if you're familiar with our recipes for brewing coffee, we typically will use 2 grams of coffee for every finished ounce, meaning that for a 12-ounce cup of coffee, we're actually going to use 24 grams of ground coffee. However, for the AeroPress, we're going to use 36 to make the same amount of coffee. Now, why do we use the higher amount of coffee? Mainly because we're actually using a shortened brewing process. So we're using 50% more coffee because our brew time is shorter. Now, there's a couple factors that will play into this as well. So we're using a shorter brew time. So total brew time will be about 1.5 minutes instead of 3.5 minutes. And so we're compensating for the lack of extraction time, for the shorter extraction time with a greater quantity of coffee. Now, we're also brewing this under pressure. So as you press this, it is under pressure. Now, it's not like an espresso machine, which is several bars of pressure. And it's not like a mocha pot, which is 1 full bar of pressure. This is anywhere between one quarter to 1.5 bars of pressure as you're pushing down. You don't really get a lot out of it. Like, you really can't, push a lot of pressure. And so, like, let's say in an espresso machine, we're using anywhere between, depending on who your recipe you're following. Like for us, we use 21 grams of coffee to brew a double shot espresso in 30 seconds. Now, that higher bar rating, that higher pressure, means that we're getting greater extraction from that coffee. However, we're talking half a bar. It's not going to give you that much compression, right? So that's why we use more. So in order to compensate for that, we're going to give us a little bit more coffee. So we're going to use 36 grams, and I've got the... Good. Got our Corazon here. This is just how we keep it at the roastery. Oh. All right, so there we are, 36 grams of coffee. And as you can see, the Corazon here is, at least in our world, it's a little bit on the lighter side for us. We try to keep this one a little bit lighter because of the higher grown coffee. Let me get that screen out of the way. All right, so we got our higher grown coffee. And you may have noticed that I've got this background running. I'm trying something new. We're trying some new technology here using green screens, and just wanted to give it a try for this live stream. What do you think? Should I use the normal background or other backgrounds? Okay, so today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be using the Porlex. And the Porlex is this is a Porlex Mini. It's a Japanese-made stainless steel bodied hand grinder with conical burrs. Now, this is a great little grinder in that, especially for travel, the best bit about it is that it fits inside the AeroPress. So you can put yourself a relatively compact travel brewing experience. And if you're just joining us, hey, welcome to the live stream. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on the replay, thank you as well. And drop any questions you have in the comments below and let me know what you think. Or if you have any questions about coffee, just let me know. All right, so the Porlex comes in 4 parts. The chamber that holds everything, the cap, the handle, and then the interior. Right, the interior. I can't really see that. So you can see here there's conical porcelain ceramic burrs. And you can actually see them better here. So this is actually how you adjust. You use this feature here to adjust the grind setting right? So you unscrew it to get it a little more coarse, screw it down to get it finer. There's actually a spring-loaded piece in there that pushes the interior burr. All right, so now the difficult part of this is that this inner chamber is not terribly large. So before we grind, we're going to reconnect the two bottoms. Now you can, like, so if there's 36 grams here, 36 grams will not fit completely in the Porlex. So we're going to have to do a couple of runs brewing with the Porlex. Oh, and you know what I forgot? I forgot something. And we'll come back to it. So in this particular case, we'll probably have to do 2 grindings. Oops, actually, you know what? I do need to get that. All right, all right. Did it get a little bit wobbly in the background while I was moving? I had to go behind the background to access the filters that I needed. All right, so we're going to take this now. We've got it somewhat filled. Put the cap on. Put this here, and then you just rotate. We're grinding, we're grinding. You know, when you talk to a lot of these coffee geek people, these real coffee enthusiasts out there in the world, a lot of them will love to recommend hand grinders, all different types, and there's many different hand grinders out there. I tend not to. I'm not really a big fan of hand grinding. So when I was the young apprentice learning the coffee trade, traveling with my mentors, we would be in different parts of the world. And since I was the new guy, it was up to me to grind the coffee every morning. Not necessarily brew it, just to grind it, because nobody wants to grind coffee. So there I'd be, 5:30, 6 in the morning, grinding, you know, tired. We've been out till who knows how late. And then there I am grinding. Not really the most fun times. So when people wax poetic about hand grinding, I'm not one of them. I don't really share that. Some people would say, you know, oh, it's great to get close to your craft. I think I'm close enough to my craft. And as you can see, it takes a while. Like, I would be done by now. If I put this in an electric grinder, I'd be done. All right, there we go. I think we've ground through the first batch. All right, excellent, excellent. So what we're going to do today with the AeroPress, we're going to use what they call an inverted method. So the typical method prescribed by Alan Adler was to use this attached here, put that on top of your cup, add the coffee, add the water, add this, and then press. But the problem is that once you add the water, it starts to flow through the filter. And we want more control over that. So that's why we actually use this thing we call inverted. So we take the thing and put it upside down. And some of the accessories that come with it is a little funnel. Right? We'll put the funnel on top. Take our coffee from the Porlex. So it's relatively fine. Can't really see that, can we? Can you see that? Ooh. There we go. So you can see it's pretty fine. Now we're just going to pour that into the funnel. We'll put that aside from it because we still have a bit of coffee to grind still yet. Right, so we still have I've got all these boxes that fit together like jigsaw puzzles. Now that we're a little bit less volume, I can pour it a little bit easier into the Porlex. All right, now back to grinding. So, like I said, I'm not really a big fan of hand grinding. I abhor it, actually. It's a pretty serious word, abhor. But not accurate nonetheless. And so people ask me, well, what do you do when you travel? I said, well, you know, I don't really want to carry a lot of things when I travel. Actually, when I travel, you know, there's a lot of I'm already traveling for like a week or 2 weeks at a time. And I really don't want to carry more than I absolutely have to. And I will pack coffee because I may be giving coffee to some friends or to other people that we're meeting with, but I tend not to bring too much coffee for myself. I certainly don't bring brewing devices or grinders with me. And if I do bring coffee to drink, I'll actually pre-grind it at the shop in a commercial grinder and then put it in the Ziploc bags and then bring that with me. But really what I enjoy doing when I'm traveling is I like to go to the local coffee shops and, you know, experience the local coffee scene and whatever kind of coffees they're brewing. So that's really what I prefer to do. All right. Oh, that's good. We got to do that whole thing. That wasn't so painful. Painful enough, but not terribly painful. All right, we're back to the AeroPress. And we're going to add the rest of the 36 grams. So that's all of our coffee we're using. So again, we're using 36 grams of coffee. Now, as you can see, it's a little bit uneven. We're going to level it out. Okay. From here, it's relatively simple. We're going to add, before we do that, we're going to first take our paper filters. So the paper filters comes with your AeroPress. In the original AeroPress pack, you get about 300 of these filters. And you put that inside the filter holder. So Dietrich's asking, what is your favorite Pokemon? You know what? That's a good question. I guess the easy cop-out answer is Pikachu. I don't really know. And the audio's gone? Really? No more audio. That's weird. Let's see. Let's see what we can find out. That is odd. You know, I don't know what happened, but at least when I check the feed from another account, it seems like it's working all right. So I guess we're going to keep going. All right, so Pokemon, probably Pikachu. I don't really know Pokemon that well. My nephew knows Pokemon. He loves Pokemon. I'm actually buying Pokemon cards for him, and but I don't know too much about it, to be honest. All right, so we're going to add the water. And we're just going to add a little bit of this. So we're adding a little bit of this, and now we're just going to simply give it a little stir. Audio's good. Excellent. Glad to hear it. How you doing today, Artie? Not sharp enough. Everything good? All right, so we added a little bit of water here. Now we're just going to wait. We're going to start our timer And we're going to run it for about 90 seconds or so. I'm going to add a little bit of water just to top it off. We're waiting. Oh, we should put the cap on. You put the cap on because otherwise you're sitting here with this top-heavy AeroPress. And if you don't put the top on it, it spills over. Well, you know exactly what will happen then. All right, we're 45 seconds or so. So how was your guys' evening? What did you guys do last night? Last night, what did I do? I didn't do anything. I made some, I was working and then I finally realized that it was 7 o'clock and I hadn't eaten and I was like, oh, I hadn't even thought about eating. I didn't even realize it was 7. I was editing videos actually I was editing tomorrow's video release for this channel, the new episode of Cafe Verite, which is actually going to be kind of funny because unfortunately the battery died on me in the camera but one of our guests was an actress who is from, so when somebody else is saying the audio is no good as well. Let's see. Oh, nope. Sounds like it's doing pretty well. All right, so that should be good. Yeah, there we are. We've got plenty of time. Now we're just going to take it, and now I like to take a glass and put it on top, turn it over, and press it down. So Michael says it's probably audio, but it could be based in Belgium. Now we're just going to press down. All right, so that's pretty much it. Now what happens is we brewed this AeroPress with 36 grams of coffee. 36 grams of coffee, and get rid of that. 36 grams of coffee, and it gives us a liquid brew about 150 mils, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to. Why is it leaking on my box? The one thing about when you're pressing down, it does kind of get all over the place, and I hope it's just leaking down the side rather than, oh yeah. So what we're going to do now is to make the final brew, we're going to add water to the coffee to the final amount. To 350 mils. Ooh, there. All right, so there we are. The coffee is nicely brewed. Now we're just going to brew it up and give it a taste. So as you can see, the coffee is not bad. The brew's not bad. Now let's give it a taste and see what we got. There's some nice juiciness to it, a little bit of berry. The brightness is really kind of very pleasant. It's that high altitude brightness that really makes it like kind of sparkly, kind of very much like a sparkling wine, kind of champagne, kind of like effervescence on the tongue. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like it. I'm digging it. Yeah, that's not bad. So what's going on? We've got this coffee really nicely done here. It is. There's actually a bit of it's a medium bodied, medium to full right now. The berry fruit is really kind of enjoyable. There's a nice champagne effervescence to it. Very clean and smooth on the finish. Really, really nicely done. I'm really, really enjoying this. Someone was asking earlier that what do I do about the grays, right? And the grays, actually, I've been dyeing the grays green recently. It's kind of light here because it's kind of faded. I don't use like a heavy duty dye. I just kind of wash it in and it washes out eventually. Actually, I was kind of wondering what's going to happen since I started this green screen. If the hair is green, will it match the chroma of the background? Of course, you're seeing a different background than I can see in the cameras, but the chroma keying, you're actually keying out hues of green, a certain like spectrum of green, and so would the hair fall in with that? But I'm enjoying it because the gray hair allows me to finally dye hair and get colors, whereas before, with black hair, you have to strip it out completely, which damages it and just makes a lot of problems. But I don't know. What else did I tell you today? We've got some stories to go over. What else? So we've gone over the Porlex. We've gone over the AeroPress. We've gone over the scale. Actually, the scale, this MFEI, or this particular one is the AWS model, but it's an MFEI scale as well as the Porlex. We featured in our 2020 gift guide. So I'm trying to think about what are going to be great items for this year's Christmas gift guide. So if you have any ideas, drop those in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Well, that's good. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. All right, so I guess that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. Really appreciate you spending this time with us today on Tuesdays. We're always going to be here Tuesday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, Standard or Daylight, whatever comes around. So come and join us again. And if you're watching on the replay, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions about coffee, drop those in the comments below. Be happy to answer them in the next episode. So until next time, have a great one and enjoy drinking.